Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Saturday. That means it's the weekend, right? And it's also the end of the month. It's May 31st of 2025. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, you know that on weekends I am allowed to go off the rail. And that is not talk about business per se. And I try to put it out there more on how to become a better person, a better friend, a better father, you name it. And today is you need to teach people how to treat you. That's number one that we're going to discuss today. And the other is you need to compete with yourself to be a better person. And we'll go into that. And then finally, the three words of I hope, I cannot, and well, stay tuned. You're going to figure it out. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and if you didn't know it, this is the weekend. Monday through Friday is the weekday where we discuss business, anything to do with running a business to pricing to what have you, right? But for those of you that know me, know on the weekends, I can go off the rail and usually do. Today we're talking about how to teach others how to treat us. And with that, it's a hard one because a lot of people, a lot of you that are listening to this that have had problems with this in the past, it's not an easy thing to do. You don't want to be pushy or feel like you're being pushy or overbearing and a lot of times you're not. You're really not. It's all in how you deliver it. If you have somebody that keeps disrespecting you, right, then we need to find out why they feel it's okay to disrespect you. And my feeling is if the other person is unwilling to change because you have no way of changing that person, the only way that person is going to change is if they decide they want to change. And a lot of times what I see is that other person would have been willing to change had I been vocal with them and told them this is unacceptable. I mean, I love you like a brother, but no, this isn't flying. This is my line in the sand, right? And so you're setting boundaries with your friends, family, loved one, everybody, kids, of what your expectations are. And you are important enough so that you should have your own set of boundaries and expectations of the people that are around you. And see, the nice thing about it is if the people around you are unwilling to accept those boundaries, stop being around them. They're not much of a friend. If they're family, I've seen toxic families be, and they're simply doing something that has been done for years in the past. One toxic individual up the food chain created the mess that's now in. Is it changeable? Yes, very much so. But everybody has to play their part, right? So, biggest thing is in relationships, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's wife, whether it's, the whole gauntlet. It's usually a miscommunication between one individual and the other. If you're with someone else, and you don't even have to be married, this is dating someone else. If this is the right person, you should be doing everything you can to help that other person succeed. even in a friendship. You should be doing everything you can to help that person succeed at what they feel is important to them. And you're going to ask me why, Eric? Why should I waste my energy trying to help that person succeed? Because in the end, you both succeed. It's a mentality. If you go around and it's all me, 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 you're either narcissistic or an asshole. It can't be all about me. It's kind of like trying to move a couch, right? And the couch is heavy. And you're an old man like me. Now, if everything is all about me, 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 okay, so I got to figure out how to move that couch, how to get it out the doorway, and then up into a trailer to go to the dump. Can it be done? Yeah, but it's going to be harder than hell, especially with open heart surgery and lifting restrictions. But can it still be done? Yes. Are there going to be a lot of pains in it? Yes. Is it going to take a lot of time to do it? Yes. Now, interject a friend or a loved one. And their feeling is they will try to help you do anything you can to succeed within reason. And that is helping you get that couch out the door. Now, two people could do a hell of a lot better than me, right? But let's take a step further. Add another person in, and another person in, that all want to see you succeed. Even knowing that you may not be able to ever help them. That's the type of person you want to be, is the ones that are helping you. Is doing it because it's the right thing to do. And it's helping you. It's helping you succeed. So now you got 3 or 4 people. And that couch job, by the way, that was really, really hard. And it took you 10 lifts and drags just to get it from the living room to the formal living room, which is around 30 feet. Now, with at least 2 or more people, that couch can be simply lifted, angled, and slid out the door. By yourself, it ain't going out that door. You can't twist it and lift it at the same time without busting your chest open. But I think you get the drift, that it's so much easier if you have friends, family help you. And why would they want to help you? Because you're the type of person that is always willing to help other people. Or at least you should be. You should be. It's a long, lonely life being by yourself and feeling like you're the only one that can be there for you. Now, here's another example. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of my examples that I give you are from real world experience, real world problems. And that is not wanting to bother other people with what's going on with you. Case in point, just taking my medications that I have. I have a cognitive issue with being able to sort the pills into a monthly metaset. So that once it's done for the whole month. I just go down through them, right? I have to ask, and now I don't even have to ask, because whether it's my daughter, my granddaughter, my daughter-in-law, they all just show up. One of them does. And says, let's sit down and get your Metaset down. For the first 2 weeks, I tried to do it myself. And how did that go? Well, it took me roughly over 2 hours. And then in that 2 hour span to fill, and I was doing it weekly at that time, 2 hours to set up my meds for the week. And then I ended up getting some of them wrong. And when you're taking heart meds, especially blood thinners, you want to make sure that you're not taking too much. And that was what was happening, as I was taking too much of ones that I shouldn't have. So it spooked me after being God saving my life. Here I was trying to take my own life. Kind of like suicidal, huh? But there's a case in point where any one of these three, it's not a big deal for them. And they can knock it out in 10 minutes for the weekly, and my daughter-in-law in about 15 minutes can do the monthly. Same thing with my granddaughter and my daughter. Before the surgery, I could have knocked it out in 10 to 15 minutes. So I was pushed into an area where I had to ask for help. Because I had always prided myself on not asking anybody for anything. I would be the first one to help anybody. Anybody. But when it came to myself, I didn't want to bother other people. It wasn't that I was so great that other people couldn't help me. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to bother people. I know that everybody's got busy schedules, and just do it myself and see where that got me. But that's what I mean by being around people and treating them the way you would hope to be treated. And that's all about setting boundaries, realistic boundaries. You know, if you don't like to hear a lot of swearing, speak up, say something. See, my grandfather always told me that if you're using a lot of cuss words, you're just, instead of having people think you're ignorant, you're letting people know you're ignorant. Because you can't come up with better words than these swear words. And I have to tone a couple people down that come around me that every other word is a swear word. It's like, come on. Not that I'm a saint, but you're showing your ignorance. So we have to tell people and teach people what our boundaries are. Right? And that person that keeps bringing up that thing from 20 years ago, and it just makes you cringe every time. Have you told them to stop? Have you told them how you feel about that? Of enough is enough. That happened 20 years ago. I don't want to hear any more about it. Get over it. And I'm telling you right now, you may have the wrong friends. If you're basing your friendships off from who's popular and this and that, I'm telling you right now, you got the wrong friends. The right friends will gravitate towards you being you. You don't need to impress them. They're already impressed. So take a look at the people around you. Who do you feel that you need to impress? And then ask the question, why? Why do I need to feel that I need to impress somebody? Right? Just something to give thought to. And how do you set boundaries? You simply say, this is my line in the sand. Give them one that's a little farther out, so that if they cross the one that's farther out, you can speak up before they cross the one that will not be tolerated. And you may have to ditch some friends that are narcissistic or all in themselves. Most people are so worried about what's going on with themselves that they don't give you any thought. And that goes back to something that makes me laugh when I tell other people about it. But it's one of those things where someone has done you wrong. Okay? Good chances they don't know that they've done you wrong because you haven't said that this is my boundary. Right? But now you're stewing on it. And you feel hatred towards that person. And it's taking up a lot of your time and energy. Meanwhile, that other person is clueless that you have a problem. Or they see you have a problem, but they don't know what it is, so they just go on about their day. So they're not sitting there stewing on it with you. You're the only one stewing on it. And what I tell people is, you need to forgive. You really do. And I'm not saying go to that person and say, I forgive you. Especially if it's one that will do it again. You have to do this as an internal dialogue. And that is, I forgive you. And what you're actually doing is you're giving yourself forgiveness for spending this much time, wasting this much time and energy on someone that could care less. Move on. Forgive. And that's going to release a big thing off your shoulders and give you the ability to move on and be a happy person that everybody had come to love and cherish instead of being the sad sack that's pissed off most of the time. Does that sound reasonable? So what do I mean by you need to compete with yourself on a daily basis to become a better person? It's as simple as just what I said. Is if you strive to become better than you are today, better than you were yesterday, you're on the right track. Never compete with others. It doesn't matter, because here's my line of logic is if you compete with yourself to be better, you will be bettering yourself every day you do this, right? And in some cases, competing with other people, you'll never see how really good you are because the other people you may be competing with are mediocre. But if you feel that you can be just above them, you're just above mediocre and you have not reached your full potential. If that makes any sense. That's why years ago I stopped competing with other people. And it's because I felt like I had reached the top. And in reality, I had not. I had not even come close to reaching my full potential of what I was capable of doing. So by competing with myself on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, setting goals to achieve, I found that I could be better than just above mediocre. I could have succeeded at a lot of things. That if I had not competed with myself to be a better person, a better businessman, better everything, I would never have realized the results or the expectations. Because even with competing with yourself, you have to be realistic about where you are now and where you want to be, right? It's goal setting. And just simply saying I want to be better than isn't going to be where you want to be either. You know, there's so many different areas of your life that you can become better. And that is, for me, to be a better father, a grandfather, and a better friend to the people around me. For me, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. I believe in God. I've always have. Ever since I was young, I believe and I still believe in God. And if you watch my channel, you'll know that I'm not a Bible pumping, preaching person. I'm not ashamed to let you know that I do believe in God. And I also tell people you don't need a church or a pastor to talk to God for you. You can do it whenever and wherever you are. I talk to God a lot. I feel like He's got me on the mute button most of the time. But I talk to God. And it's the last thing I do before I go to bed at night is I give everything to Him so that I can get a good night's sleep. It's still going to be there in the morning, but it's a lot easier to tackle when you're rested, right? You have a new, different perspective. And the other thing is I'm never alone with anything. He knows. He hears. He sees. See, you can't say that you believe in God and then go out and do all these things and repent only to redo them again. If you repent your sins, which we all sin, hopefully you're not just going to go out and do them again and disregard asking for forgiveness, if that's reasonable. All right, so and lastly, a lot of times when we use the words I hope, I need, I cannot, that holds you back from excelling. Because those three words, hope, need, and cannot, sets a negative tone within you saying you don't believe it's possible. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. And then just substituting it with I know, I can, and I will. You see where I'm going with this? If you substitute those words in every time you catch yourself saying it the other way, you will start to see things happen. If you convince yourself by saying, I cannot, you are already telling the world and yourself that you cannot do it. Simply by saying, I can, brings forth a new, let's see what I can do. Because I feel that anything in life that you want is achievable if you're willing to put the time and energy into it, you know. It's like if you want to go back to college and have a 4.0 GPA, is it doable? Yes. Is it going to be easy? No. But if you put your time in, even this old dog went back to school in his late 30s, and I ran almost a 4.0 right across the board, and I graduated top of my class with honors. And it's not to brag. It's to show you and tell you, if I can do it, you can do it. And when I was doing that, I strived every day to become better than I was the day before. I wanted to learn more than I did the day before. And there were days that I hope, I cannot, I need, popped in. And I had to push him back saying, no, I know I can and I will. Just with that mindset. The difference between a 2.8 and a 4.0 GP GPA, yeah, is more hours of studying, more hours of comprehending, and more hours of in class listening to what the professor's telling you. And it also helped that going back to school when I was older, I was more mature and responsible. So I looked at it a whole different light than just out of high school. So on that note, you guys have a great Saturday, and we'll see what tomorrow brings, whether the Sunday sermon comes in or not. But treat yourself. You're worth it. Set boundaries. And let people know what the boundaries are. You shouldn't be around people that you feel the need to impress. The right people will be around you for you, not because of you impressing others. And I want you to get into the mindset of helping others is helping yourself. That the people around you, you should always want to help them succeed at whatever they want to in life, as long as it's not something that's detrimental to them or others, right? And just by changing your vocabulary will change your mindset. You guys have a great Saturday.